Hey everyone, welcome to Data Millennials. I am Atul, and in this video we are going to discuss how we can apply or use a square root function with the calculated field in Looker or Google Data Studio. So as you can see over here, I have a table and a graph in which I am showing the current price versus the square root of unit price. The same thing that I am showing over here in the table. But if I'll show you my raw data, then I have a unit price over here, and I need to get the square root of this unit price. So in this video we are going to create this table and this graph, and then we are going to apply or use the square root function with the calculated field in our chart or table from scratch, so that you can get the idea that how we can apply this square root function with the calculated field. But before we use this square root function, let's understand about the square root function a little. So a square root function returns the positive square root of a positive number in Looker. If I'll show you the syntax of a square root function, then you have this function name SQRT, then you have this argument x, where x is a literal number, a field, or an expression containing at least one field. So let's go and create this graph and this table from scratch. So first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to click on this edit button. Then I'm going to add a new page over here where we will be replicating that graph and table. So I'm going to copy this header as well as this header, and I'm going to put it over here. I'm just going to increase the size of these two. Now the first thing that I need to do is that I need to replicate this table where I need to show date wise unit price and the square root of unit price. So in order to add a table, you have to come over here in add a chart and select any of the table. The moment you will select a table, then Looker will allow you to add a table on your empty canvas. So the moment I added the table, you will see that by default Looker has taken a data source for me, which is this data. But if you want to change the data source, then you can come into the setup section, click over here and select any of your data source based on your requirement. Now for me, I'm just going to keep this data source, and I'm going to remove this category as my dimension first. So the first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to take this date as my dimension. Then I'm going to take this unit price as my metric. Now I need to create a column with square root function using the calculated field. So there are two ways to create a calculated field. Either you can create a calculated field for a particular visualization widget, or you can create a calculated field within your data over here. So first, let's create a calculated field as a calculated metric over here. So to do that, you have to come within this metric section and click on add metric. Then you have to click on create a field. Now you can give the name over here. So I'm going to give unit price SQRT, and now I have to give the formula SQRT. And the moment you will start writing the first two letter of your function, you will see that the IntelliSense of Looker will allow you to select the function that you want to use. So you can select this function, and then you have to give the argument. For me, the argument is unit price. So I have given the unit price as an argument over here. Then you can see over here that you have a tick mark over here which says formula syntax is valid. Then you can click on apply. The moment you will click on apply, you will see that Looker will start calculating the square root of the unit price, and it will reflect over here in your table. Now the funny part is that I have created a calculated field over here under this metric, which is not available over here in the data. But what if I need to use this unit price SQRT in my graph also, which I'm going to create over here? To do that, what I have to do is that either I have to create a new metric as a calculated field for this graph, or what I can do is that I can create a calculated field in my data from this option which says add a field. So click on add a field, and then the first thing that Looker will ask me is the field name. So I'm just going to give the field name as unit price SQRT column. Okay, then I have to give the formula which is SQRT, and then I'm going to select this formula and the argument value which is unit price. Then I'm going to click on save, and you will see that the calculated field saved is appearing over here. Then I have to click on finish, and you will see that you have a new column over here which says unit price SQRT column. The first calculated metric that we created was unit price SQRT, which is not available over here in your data section because this column which you created is specifically for this visualization widget. Now if I need to replicate this graph, then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to click on add a chart, and I'm going to select a graph, any graph based on my requirement, and then I have to select the dimension. For me the date will be the dimension. As a metric, the first thing that I'm going to put is a unit price only. Then the second thing that I'm going to put is a unit price SQRT column. Now you can see that this graph is ready, but this graph is not looking similar to this one because I have to style this graph a little bit. So I'm going in this style section where I'm going to give the series color as this, show points, show data level. Then for similarly series 2, I'm gonna give this color, show points and show data level. Now if I click on view, you will see that you have a similar graph which we had in page 1 over here, and the similar table as well. Now the funny thing is that when you created a calculated field in data, you can see that you can use this unit price SRT column in this table also. So if I drag this over here, you will see that you have a new column over here, but you are unable to use this unit price SQRT which you have specifically created for this table within this graph. So this is the difference when you are creating a calculated field for data or you are creating a calculated field for metric. So this is how basically you can use calculated field with a square root function to return the square root of a number in Looker. Happy learning and see you in the next video.